John. Hey, thank you for being here and welcome everyone. We are reconvening our special board meeting Tuesday, December 1st, 2020. Special meeting at 3 p.m. We are starting at 3:15, however. Roll call, Mr. O'Neill.
Here.
Mr. Jabbar?
Here.
Ms. Piercy?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Present.
And Anne Marie Randall Trejo, I am present. Thank you. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand with me. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I think I'm going to skip a moment of silence and just really just think about all of the news that we're seeing every day, and just really weighs on all of us. We're pulling through. We're making the best of it, but we do share our hearts with those who have passed from COVID and those who have really had some hardship. So moving on to the 5.3 closed session report, the clerk of the Board of Trustees will report actions taken during closed session. Ms. Smith, please.
Thank you. 4.1, no reportable action taken regarding negotiations.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Item 6, public comments, open session items.
And yes, we do have two public comments this afternoon. The first comment is from Sylvia Anopa and Buck Bannon, APGA co-presidents. Dear Anaheim Union High School board members, we are writing to you on behalf of APGA as we would like our voice heard when you meet to discuss the rollout of bringing back staff and students to the school sites. As you are aware, all counselors were brought back to all school sites starting October 26, 2020. APGA is not in agreement with this decision that we are more essential than other certificated employees. However, we respected the district and board's decision to return to work. We are not sure if you were aware, but since the summer, counselors had been back at their school sites with a minimum of one counselor on campus daily. This schedule was working fine for counselors, administrators, and students and families. A big part of what counselors do is service students and families. In fact, counselors have gone above and beyond since the start of the pandemic to meet the growing needs of our students and families. The district has asked us to be flexible, and we have been very flexible, working early mornings and late evenings, responding to our students and families. Counselors are still pushing into classes to provide lessons on various topics in the following domains: academic, personal and social, college and career. As you know, students are in remote classes Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays until 2:30, and working on independent work until 2 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Counselors have been cautious to try our best to not interfere with students' learning hours. Therefore, we have had to pivot some of our work to non-traditional hours. Counselors did this as we knew this was in the best interest of our students and families. We are very aware that now more than ever, we play a crucial role in our students' lives, and we want to be able to work with them and not add any extra stress to them during these very trying times. With counselors being forced to be on campus 5 days a week, we have had some members have to take partial or full leaves for their families and/or health. Not given the flexibility to work remotely ultimately affects the service our students receive, not to mention the strain it puts on counseling teams. It should be noted that counselors are capable of doing our jobs remotely, as was proven for the last part of the last school year, as well as the first part of this school year. Here is just some of the good work that counselors did during the first quarter when counselors had the option to work remotely. The following were documented interactions by our counselors in the following areas: academics, 81,844, careers, 11,745, social emotional, 12,892, extracurriculars, 30,032, for a total of 136,513 interactions. With the surge of COVID-19 across the state and the step back into the purple tier, we know that bringing students back in January is on pause. We appreciate the district has focused on safety of staff, students, and community members during these unprecedented times. Therefore, we respectfully request that you consider that counselors have the option to work remotely in order to best serve our students and families, as well as to keep us and our own families safe. In addition, we are also requesting that our return date to campus be aligned with the teachers, SLPs, SLPAs, and instructional assistants. The second public comment this afternoon comes from Grant Schuster, president of the Anaheim Secondary Teachers Association. Good afternoon, trustees, cabinet, and everyone joining us online today. I would first like to thank the board for scheduling this special meeting to address an extraordinary time. 10 days ago, you met and acknowledged concerns of district employees and the community by putting a pause on our return to campus. Unfortunately, our public health conditions have largely deteriorated since then. ASTA and the AUHSD have worked tirelessly to prepare for student return to campuses, and events beyond our control have kept us from the return that we also desperately want. We were all prepared for a hybrid start to the year in August, when the COVID-19 spike over the summer demanded a distance learning model to start the year. Again in the fall, with public health metrics looking good, we prepared for a return in winter. Currently, our county is being hit harder than at any time since the start of this pandemic. Our frustration and fatigue dealing with the situation is real, and we must find ways to support each other as we navigate our way through. ASTA stands firmly in support of the proposal from AUHSD district leadership that we postpone the reopening of campuses until the fourth quarter. There is nothing that teachers want more than an end to the pandemic and a return to classes with their students, but the safety of the community must always be our primary focus. We will continue to work with the district to find new and innovative ways to engage every student in the district and find ways to support them and their families. We will also strive to support all of our teachers, nurses, and speech and language pathologists, along with the rest of our employee groups, to ensure that they have the resources necessary to be at their best for our students. We thank the board for considering physical and mental health needs, along with the educational needs of every district stakeholder when you make these difficult decisions. We look forward to reuniting with everyone in person as soon as conditions allow. And that concludes public comments for this afternoon.
Thank you, Carl. Okay, moving on to 7, the return of students to school, action item.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments from the board? Questions? Let's just go in order. Mr. O'Neill, how about you go first?
I'm not sure why I was pulled first, if it's because of my age, I'm the youngest one, or what? No.
Your beauty, it's beauty.
Peace. Seriously, we've had a lot of discussion about what has taken place and what is taking place and what possibly can take place in the future. And the district recognizes the concern of our employees throughout the district and the students that grace us at our campuses. So I'm in favor of making modifications to what we had planned originally in the rollout that was to take effect today. We do not know what the future is going to hold for certain, but we do know that what we had planned originally needs to be modified because of the times have changed. So with that said, I will pass it to the next person.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Mr. Jabbar?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Trustee O'Neill. I think I mentioned this before when I supported the initial conversation about it, is that it all depends on what it looks like on the ground. And I think things have changed, and we are basically modifying our decision based on that. But mostly, this is a time where we talk about mental health of all folks, including our students and staff. And I think this will give a much more of a relaxing situation for our staff members, because they don't have to worry about having to come to work and go back and maybe infecting their family and loved ones. So we're in a good position. I think we've heard not only our community folks, our parents, but our staff members, and I'm in favor as well.
Thank you, Mr. Jabbar. Ms. Piercy?
Okay, yeah, since things are changing daily, and we've had to come to terms with the fact that we are no longer showing a decrease in numbers, we have to, react accordingly. So I am in favor of, postponing this coming back right now. And I think right now I was looking for the actual proposal from the cabinet, but I'm not sure I want to definitely say, postpone until the fourth quarter. I think we want to wait and see what happens. We assume is going to be another spike, but maybe not. So let's just, right now, we're going to be, let's say, starting the second semester online, and then we'll kind of, go from there. And hopefully we can ramp up to hybrid as soon as the numbers are fine, because that's what we want to do. But we want to do it safely. But I don't want to lock us into only going to fourth quarter, because fourth quarter would be what, March or April? I don't even remember which one it is. But anyway, but I'm in agreement that we do have to back off right now, because, hey, who knows? I mean, the governor might say we can't anyway, depending upon what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Ms. Piercy. Ms. Smith?
Good afternoon. I would like everyone that is online here listening that the conversations that we had in closed session held everyone in their hearts, all of the people that work in the schools, the students, the parents, the families, the realities of what we are all affected by. And I started my statement out to say, I'm very flexible. And as long as the people that are employed by the different units in our school system are told clearly what they should anticipate, and that everybody understands we're all clear about the same page we're on. So I agree with the other board members, and I want you all to know we appreciate you and thank you ever so much for everything you all do.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I just want to, first of all, thank our staff for really bearing with it and sticking through it. And for those of you who have come on our campuses, and really laid the groundwork for all of this to happen. I am in agreement, though, with postponing the opening, but I also want us to kind of take a step back and really, let's really look at the work that's being done. We've never done this before, but the quality of and the work that's being done with integrity, all of our admins being on campus, all of our classified employees who have been on campus, doing the work. And truth be told, I was getting phone calls and complaints because classified employees wanted to come back to work. They wanted to be part of the solution. They wanted to be part of, creating the safety net and cleanup and all of that. And so I just want us to kind of take a step back. We're getting a lot of letters pitting employees against each other. And I just really want us to kind of take a step back from that. And let's not do that. We're all doing our utmost best. We're working towards making our campuses the safest. I disagree, Mr. Jabbar. I don't think that people will come to school and get COVID. Maybe that was you misspoke a little bit there. I would never ask an employee to do something that I'm not doing myself. I've been at work since August. I go through the protocols, wear my mask every day. So, when we ask you to come to your job, to your place of work, it shouldn't be with that attitude of being forced. This is your place of business. This is your work. We want to make our community as safe as it can be, and we want to work in harmony. So I would just really ask some of you to kind of take a step back from pitting us all against you. It's not a district versus classified. It's not a district versus certificated. It's not a us versus them. We're all together, and we all mean it. What Ms. Smith said, we're all in this together. We're all losing sleep. We're all, we all read the newspaper. We all see the TV. We're all going through this together, but we're a service-oriented business. And we really just need to think with that frame of mind. So anyone else want to speak? Go ahead.
Well, I'll correct myself. I don't think I intended to say that people will come to school and get infected with COVID, but it's the mental health of our staff, knowing that they have to come to a location where there are going to be more employees and the possibility of getting infected. I think that's the point that I was trying to make. And if it came out as, I want to correct that, because I do have the confidence in our staff, including Manuel, who's joining us here. He's led a great team, which has actually put together a facilities, which I visited a couple of them, where at Anaheim High School, it's like literally, I could say that you'll probably be more safer in, but it's the mental health and the mental strain of wanting to do that. That's key for us. I think that's something that we have to, as board members, take into consideration. The second point that I want to make is I think we also want to consider counselors. And Jaron, do you want to modify our motion to include that specifically, or would that be a directive that you could actually give directly to the counselors?
Well, Trustee Jabbar, under the fourth bullet, which gives, assuming you all approve this item, it gives the district administration us essentially the discretion to adjust the remaining aspects of the return to schedule. So as you know, with counselors, specifically since you brought them up, what we could do is we could modify their request where they're not back 5 days a week, but each counselor is back 1 day a week on a rotation. So the high school, since they're a larger staff, they would come back 1 day a week, and the junior highs, each counselor would be there 1 day a week with 2 or 3 days of no coverage, unless you're a junior high with only 2 counselors and you have 3 days of no coverage.
Okay, perfect. And let me finish my point by also stating that I want to give special kudos to our classified staff, right? AFSCME staff and CSEA staff who have actually been there. It's not that the rest of them don't want to come on campus. It's just a matter of they've been there as they've been needed, they've been asked, and they've been there doing the work. Specifically, I want to give a shout out to AFSCME because I think they've been there in terms of doing our food drives, right? Food distribution for our families. And that's a key part. And I want to mention that, you know, when AFSCME was there, we did have teachers who volunteered to pick up a route for, especially for Hope School, you know, to go out and drop food for them. We had CSCA staff who came in and supported AFSCME staff to distribute. So I think all in all, everybody wants to do the right thing. But for me, the main discussion, or the main point for me, was to make sure that not only keep our staff safe, but the mental health of our staff need to be taken into consideration, especially during this pandemic. So having said that, I support this.
Anne Marie, I would like to add one thing. About 11 this morning, I was driving into the parking lot at the district office, and someone waved at me, and I stopped to put my window down. And I had to remove my glasses because the tears came down my face, and it was Orlando Griego. And I said to him, I think of you and the gals that do what they do every single day. And I just wonder, how do they do what they do? And they were giving out meals. And all I can say, it's not just our district, it's not just the community, it's human beings that really care and do the best they can under the most unbelievable circumstances. So to Orlando and his wonderful crew, I just want everybody to know that we do love in this district.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Thank you, Mr. Jabbar. Okay, anyone else? All right, with that, I will entertain the vote. Roll call. Mr. O'Neill.
Aye.
Mr. Jabbar.
Aye.
Ms. Piercy.
Will you repeat the motion? What is the motion in entirety?
So entirety, oh my goodness. Hey, Carl, could you help me out with that?
Yes, I'll be happy to read it. The motion would be to alter the timeline adopted in the resolution adopted earlier by, number one, delaying the return of students to campus until the start of the fourth quarter. Number two, setting January 4th and 5th, 2021 as regular student days pursuant to the original district calendar. Number three, delaying the return of teachers, speech language pathologists and assistants, as well as instructional assistants, to a date or dates to be determined by district administration with ample time for preparation in alignment with the return of students. And number four, providing district administration discretion to adjust the remaining aspects of the return schedule.
Okay, so just as it was printed on the agenda that we received. Okay.
Yes, that's right.
So I don't agree. I'll say no. I already said I didn't think we needed to push it off until the fourth quarter, permanently like this. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Piercy. Ms. Smith?
Well, I said flexibility in the beginning, and I would agree with this, but I think that we need to be flexible and understand that things can change. So I agree with it.
Okay, that's an aye, and I vote aye. All right, I would like to entertain adjournment.
So moved.
Motion, second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Sorry, Mr. Matsuda? No? Okay, he was waving goodbye. Okay. Mr. O'Neill?
Aye.
Mr. Jabbar?
Aye.
Ms. Piercy?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you, everybody.